13 News at noon starts with breaking news. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Chalker. Indiana Congressman Baird has been hospitalized after a crash in Washington, D.C. In the last hour, Baird's office released a statement saying in part he is expected to make a full recovery and is extraordinarily grateful for everyone's prayers during this time. Now, President Donald Trump called the crash pretty bad. The 80-year-old congressman lost an arm during the Vietnam War and was elected to his fourth term in the House in November 2024. As we get more updates on how this crash happened and Baird's condition, we'll have those updates for you. In the courtroom this afternoon, a second person has pleaded guilty in a drive-by shooting death in 2024. Adam Hart died after being shot in the head on March 28, 2024 at a home on Gable Drive. Tyler Gibson, who was 17 at the time of the shooting, pled guilty to conspiracy to commit murder today. He will be sentenced to 35 years in February. Now, his then-girlfriend, Savannah Allen, pleaded guilty in October to assisting a criminal, and she will be sentenced after testifying against Joaquin Harmon Segura. According to court records, Savannah thought someone who allegedly sexually assaulted her friend lived in that house, but in reality, a different family had moved in. Allen told police she drove with two others to the house and they got out and fired multiple shots. Police found at least 30 bullet holes in that house and 3 people were inside, including a 5-year-old. 12 shots went through that child's window. And this afternoon in Tippecanoe County, Lafayette police are investigating after a woman was killed in a single car crash. It happened around 8:45 Monday morning on Cortland Avenue. That's near Greenbush and North Creasy Lane. Police believe the woman was in her 20s and she was pronounced dead at the scene. The Tippecanoe County coroner is now working to confirm that woman's identity. Once we learn what led up to that crash and who that woman is, we'll be sure to update you on air and online at WTHR.com. Now back here in Indy, Metro Police are investigating a shooting on the city's east side. Very few details right now surrounding this shooting, but this is what we've learned so far. Officers responded to reports of a person shot on 30th Street near Sherman Drive around 11 last night. Police say the victim was awake and breathing. Now we're working to learn that person's current condition and what led up to that shooting. And new owners could soon take over a troubled apartment complex on the east side. And we're talking about the Hawthorne Apartments near 32nd and Emerson. That's where 17-year-old Christian Gonzalez and 20-year-old Brian Romero was killed Saturday morning. 2 other people were injured. Now, counselors Keith Graves and Ron Gibson tell us they just met with the Indianapolis Housing Authority. They say there are talks to sell the complex to someone else with the capacity to make major improvements.
Promises for additional patrol. We've got promises to make sure that some of those important maintenance that create a safe and healthy environment are going to be met. Those are some of the things that were important to us, and they're also, it was enlightening and encouraging to know that it was also important to IHA.
Gibson says any new owners would need to keep the apartments affordable. Now, there's no word yet on the timing or conditions of this sale. Now, switching gears to our forecast now. We're much warmer today, a little gloomy, but we're going to make it that way. Sean.
Yeah, even with the clouds, however, we're still, we're about 15 plus degrees.
Hey, I think we like that after the last few weeks.
Yeah, and a lot of the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to be on the warmer side of average. So let me show you the gloomy outlook that we have for today right now. There may be some peaks of sunshine very late in the day. We're also going to have some mist and occasionally have some drizzle. You can see on the camera there in Carmel where it's 49, little liquid on the lens. Nothing at all compared to the weather system that's moving through parts of Wisconsin, through Michigan, through the Great Lakes where they've had some icy issues. We're easily on the warm side of this weather system. See this little break in the cloud deck there over far northwest Indiana? Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if we see a few peaks of sun. You're going to have a much better chance, I believe, the farther north and west you travel. For the majority of us, it's going to be kind of a gray day, but if you like it on the warmer side of average, you're going to like today. There you go, 50 plus, our average high 36. So we're above that, and compared to 24 hours ago, anywhere from 5 to locally 10 degrees warmer than that pace. Here's the vantage point from downtown. Yeah, it's gray, but 51. Going to have some of that mist around, maybe some areas of fog. This is not the warmest we're going to be. We'll time out 60 plus, and we'll time out some snowflakes, all coming up in the 7-day forecast.
All right, thanks, Sean. The new year is bringing new leadership to the City County Council as former Council President Bob Osley steps down from his post. Our Alex Almanza was at the first meeting of 2026, where city leaders are already starting on this year's agenda.
The New Year's first City Council meeting was met with plenty of pomp and circumstance as a new era for City Council is brought in. But what remains the same is the amount of work that's still left ahead. It started out like any other meeting, but this time, some big changes are ahead.
Thank you all. I can't do the ugly cry.
And with big changes, it's nice to have family in the audience for the big day.
Thank you for the privilege of serving. Now, as we vote for election of officers,
after 8 years of serving as council president, Bob Osley passing the baton, and just like that,
the green buttons have it. Councilor Lewis, congratulations. You're the new president.
a new president is elected, Maggie Lewis, but her win wasn't without its pushback.
Majority Leader Lewis voted against the community-backed plan for a fully funded, fully public school
President,
board,
that has nothing
along
to do
with the
with
rest
what
of
we're speaking
so-called
on this
Democratic
evening,
Mayor
Illinois.
Joe Hodgson.
Critics claiming President Lewis isn't doing enough to support Indianapolis public schools.
My role is very limited. I did serve on that task force to come up with a recommendation. I did support the recommendations that were voted on by the majority of the members of that task force. Now it's up to our state legislators to decide the fate of IPS.
So after a bit of musical chairs, the new leadership is in place. And for Lewis, it's not her first time as council president, as she previously served in the role from 2012 to 2017. One of her priorities, taking some meetings out of the city-county building and out into the community.
We want to make sure that we take those meetings out to the community and allow them to share their concerns, their comments about how we're actually spending taxpayer dollars.
Now, as this new leadership gets underway, questions still remain on whether Councilor Bob Osley will announce his mayoral candidacy. At the city-county building, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Now, it was a packed house in Shelby County as the Common Council voted to approve an annexation tied to a data center proposal. A viewer shared these photos on your screen of that crowd spilling out of the meeting room and even into outside watching on a stream. Nearly 3,000 people have signed a petition against this plan. Now, the company behind this is a real estate company called Proglosis. The request is for 429 acres that the company wants to rezone as industrial. Hundreds of people at that meeting voiced their concerns over property value, water quality, and noise pollution.
This is going to completely change the way I do business and the way I do life. I moved here 4 years ago to get away from this type of situation. And I think it would be a great idea if a decision was not made anytime soon and the research was done to make a better decision.
The proposal made it on to the next step, and it now goes ahead of the Planning Commission meeting scheduled for Wednesday. And Martin University trustees board confirmed that the school will be permanently closing. The board says, in part, without an endowment and given today's political climate around higher education funding, this financial model is simply not sustainable. The university paused operations 3 weeks ago, and the board says it is now in the process to sell assets so that creditors and employees are treated fairly. They also say they are working with students to find placement.